Here we go. All right, you guys, welcome to our weekly webinar. We are already well into September. We've got lots of new groups running this month, or lots of new kickoff dates, I guess I should say, for different programs this month. So if you need to know what those are, hopefully you already know, you can always check the weekly announcements to find that out. Tonight, I wanted to talk to you guys. I wanted to kind of continue our series here on recruiting. And the topic that I wanted to share tonight was just kind of, we touched on it a little bit last week, but I wanted to kind of dive a little bit deeper into branding yourself as a business mentor. So I think that I see 80% of coaches doing a really great job at branding themselves as a health and fitness coach, helping people on their fitness journey, but not necessarily branding themselves as a business mentor. Like that whole piece of the business is oftentimes missing. So that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about tonight. I do have some points to share, so I'll go ahead and share my screen. Maybe. Yeah. Okay. Okay, cool. So primary takeaways for tonight. Hopefully you come away from this knowing that the actions that you put into, or the effort you put into inviting to your team is just as important as inviting to your challenge group. We are sort of, you guys have heard this before, but we're 50-50 when it comes to what we do as coaches, right? We help people get healthy and fit, and then we help people turn that into a business opportunity, right? And so it's just as important for you to be talking about the coach opportunity as it is for you to be advertising your challenge group every single month. So that's point number one. Number two, your public brand should involve health and fitness, but it should also involve being a CEO and business mentor. So not only is the inviting piece important, but just your overall brand and how you're putting yourself out there on social, whether or not there's an invite attached or not, should convey that you're a CEO/business mentor. And then I wanted to offer you guys some ideas on what to share, because I know we're going to have a random range of people tuning into this. Probably somebody who just signed as a coach, who, this is new information, or somebody who's new to working the business. But I also know there's veteran coaches listening, and you guys are on here live. I know you've been around for a while. So I wanted to make sure that you guys had some ideas on exactly what I'm talking about. Maybe get your wheels spinning on some types of things that you can share on your social. So first and foremost, like I said, growing your team is just as important as filling your challenge group. So I know that every month all of us start at zero, right? We all start at 0 Success Club points. We're all really shooting to lock that in every single month. But that's not your only goal in the business. So it's a very good first goal, right? Like your first goal every single month should be to lock in that Success Club. But the second goal, which shouldn't even necessarily be second place, but the second goal in line is for you to be recruiting coaches. So what I wanted to do is just simply simply challenge you to, starting this month and then through the rest of the year and going forward, every single month when you're setting out to write down your goals for the upcoming month, make it a goal for yourself to not only hit Success Club, but to also enroll 3 new coaches every month. So you'd be signing 3 new customers and 3 new coaches, which would automatically put you into the 5 Lives Club category, right? So I think a lot of people feel comfortable, saying, okay, I'm going to shoot for 5 Lives Club and get people into my challenge group, but not a lot of people are putting thought into recruiting to their team. So that's kind of what I wanted to focus on tonight. So for me personally, you guys know, if you're a coach that's shooting for elite or premier, or if that's in your 2 to 3 year forecast, the parameters for that really haven't changed much. I know every year they change the elite requirements, but there's always one consistent thing, which is that you have to be hitting Success Club, you need to be helping your coaches hit Success Club, and then you also need to be recruiting coaches. So the typical rule of thumb is 3 to 4 new coaches per month is going to help you grow your business. Because let's be honest, as you guys know, not all of those coaches that you recruit each month are going to be working coaches. So if you recruit, let's say 1 or 2 coaches a month, and one of those 2 decides they just want the discount opportunity for now, your business is really moving at a snail's pace, right? And so the more people we can add to our team, the more momentum we can build, the faster we'll see our business grow. So you guys already know, without me telling you, that your income relies dominantly on the growth of your team. If you want and prefer to just have a commission-based business, then keep doing what you're doing and just recruit to your challenge groups, right? But I know you guys want more than that. I know you're trying to really build your income. And if you're trying to build your income, you're going to see a huge shift as soon as you start recruiting those 3 to 4 new coaches a month. All it really takes for you to really sort of exceed your current expectations for your income in the business comes when you start building that team. And I don't just mean diamond. I mean beyond that. I mean 2-star diamond, 5-star diamond, beyond. The efforts behind that are going to be recruiting 3 to 4 coaches a month. And then lastly, do people know, this is a question for you to sort of reflect on, do people know that you're a business mentor, or do they simply know that you run monthly fitness groups? So whether you do it right now while I'm talking or as soon as we hang up tonight, I'm hoping that you'll go through your own social media, your Instagram, your Facebook, take a look at the types of things that you've been sharing recently and just see, like, if you do a couple scrolls through each feed of your own, are there things that are indicating that you're a business mentor? Are there things indicating that you are inviting to your team or adding to your team or helping women grow an online business? Is that component part of your brand, or can we really just count on you to rock the challenge group? Okay, so that's sort of a rhetorical question, and a question I think that you can kind of ask yourself. But let's talk a little bit about public brand. So again, if I went to your Facebook page, what would I see? Now, here's something that's probably going to sting a little bit for some people. And it's a realization that I've had recently too. So one thing's for sure, that the number one, I guess, attractive aspect of what we do as coaches who build a team is the tribe vibe, right? And you see that a lot. Like, every coach in the network is talking about their tribe because they love their tribe. And those of you guys who are doing the Girl Wash Your Face mastermind, you know that it's like the one thing women crave are those friendships, that support, that accountability, that just sort of, I almost think of it as like a getaway experience. Like when I'm in that challenge group and I'm part of that challenge group, it's sort of my time. Like, that's my moment. That's my group. Those are my people. It's not my toddler or my husband. Like, it's just something separate, right? And so people are craving that feeling of the tribe. But in my opinion, at least as of recently, I'm seeing almost too much tribe stuff in my newsfeed. Okay, so I think it's important to talk about your tribe, but I wanted to kind of dissect that a little bit more tonight. Again, this could be a total just the way my brain works. Maybe you disagree, that's fine. But I'm hoping that you come away with this thinking, oh, maybe I should just reposition what I'm currently doing. Maybe that's something that you can shift. So the question here is, do I know that you're a CEO business owner, or do I simply know that you're part of a tribe and that you really love health and fitness? Okay, so there's key phraseology there. So I know this picture is awful, and it depicts kind of what I'm going for here. Okay, so I got to thinking, like, I see a lot of our team's coaches post about their tribe. I see other coaches from other teams post about their tribe, and it looks to me from the outside looking in like a super fun thing, right? Like there's this group of women who are super supportive and motivated, and they've gotten super healthy and super fit, and they go to this thing called Summit together, and it looks like they're really into these home workouts, right? From an outside person. But really though, like, how warm and inviting is that to somebody who doesn't understand what the business is, or even maybe what a challenge group is? So recently I've been thinking, gosh, my tribe posts, they get a lot of traction from coaches, but they're not getting a lot of traction from other people. And I think that's almost because, in a way, we're not sort of crossing that barrier and actually inviting people in a way that's more welcoming. So what I have here is, focusing your branding efforts on being part of your tribe only is like hanging flyers around the school, inviting girls to Girl Scouts, but never approaching anybody individually to ask if they're interested. Okay, so does that make sense? Does that analogy make sense? So let's say these girls, this group of 3 girls here in the picture, they're really close friends. They're their own little tribe. This girl in the background, right, she might want to be part of that tribe. She realizes that they have this cool little clique going on, right? They have this cool little thing, friendship and relationship thing going on. But all she really sees is their interactions, how happy they are. They post up a flyer on the walls inviting the Girl Scouts. How likely is she to show up for that Girl Scouts meeting, right? Probably not too much. She might be fearful. She might have insecurities, right? But if one of those girls says, hey, Julie, I would love to see you at the Girl Scout meeting tonight. Do you see the difference? Like, then not only does she get to see that constant tribe vibe from them, but she also gets welcome to it and invited to it individually. So my point here is saying, yes, I want you to continue sharing about your tribe, but you have to remember that people from the outside, they don't know certain phrases. They don't know what a challenge group is. They don't know who Sagi Kalev is or who Autumn Calabrese is or what it means to be obsessed. Like, all of our language that we have as coaches, people from the outside don't know. So not only that, but they also may or may not feel like they want to reach out to you about joining your tribe. It most likely would take, you guys might remember from Summit, Connie Podesta, right? It might take a squiggle to be like a squiggle personality might be the only person that's like, I want into your tribe, right? But the other personalities might be a little bit more hesitant, might be a little bit more uninvited feeling. So in my opinion, it's important to be talking about your tribe, but I don't want you guys to think that that is sort of checking the box when it comes to recruiting. Those public invites about your tribe are not enough. There have to be private messages as well. So like I said, why? Because there are insecurities, especially with women. There's fear. There's that whole comparison thing. So I included here this quote from Rachel Hollis that says, do you know the number one thing I hear most, that I get emails about most, that I get asked for advice on the most? Friends, how to make friends. That's what women are craving. And so my invitation to you is to sort of think outside the box and not just talk about how your tribe is awesome, but also make sure that you're privately messaging people in addition to that, that you're inviting them in with open arms. So here, let's talk about some ideas that I have for things that you guys can post about. This goes for Facebook, Instagram, stories, whatever you want to do. It's all the same when it comes to how you're branding yourself. You choose the platform. So the first, of course, is the tribe and the friendships. The second is income. How has even that $30 check that you got, how has that helped you this week, right? Like, a lot of times people are like, well, I'm not making six figures in the business, so I can't share an income post or whatever. I can't share that. And it's like, that's not true. If you're making $100 a month, you have something to share. That money is most likely going into paying for your kids' gymnastics or your grocery bill or whatever the case is. So those small wins that you see that the Beachbody income is helping you with are things that you should share on your social. Now, just as a reminder, you want to make sure you use the income disclaimer, which you can find just by Googling Beachbody income disclaimer. But it's a great way to sort of pique interest, right? I read a statistic recently that said that the average household, there was like some poll done. I wish I could remember what it was for. It was like a magazine or something. And it said that the average family claimed on this poll that an extra $150 a month would make a considerable difference to their family's income. $150 a month, right? So as soon as you start thinking to yourself like, I don't earn that much money, I'm not a six-figure earner, share, I guarantee you do have something. You have done something that's the business that you can share about. Of course, building a team. I remember when I first started, I kind of had to, what do you say, like, walk the walk. I had to talk the talk before I could walk the walk. I don't know how you say that. I might get it all confused. But basically, I had to put it out there that I wanted this big team, that I wanted to be a leader, that I had this big vision for myself and my family. Like, I had to put that out there on my social too, because people buy into your vision, right? There are going to be people who see that and they're going to be like, wow, that's so big of her. Like, you have to remember, a lot of people are living small. A lot of people are living in jobs that they don't like. They're in relationships that aren't serving them. They might be living beyond their means financially, like whatever the case is, your vision can attract them to you, right? That can definitely attract. So make sure you're sharing that as well. Spotlighting your coaches. If you don't have coaches, if you're new to the business, maybe you're spotlighting other coaches on our team and their stories, just sharing different perspectives on the business from other people. And then of course, personal growth and your journey with that as well. So here are some examples, and I pulled these today just from my social. They're relatively recent. So if you want the full language, if you go to my profile, you can find them pretty easily. They should be in the top 15 or 20 photos on my photos. But this was an example of me sharing a post about tribe, making sure that I had identified that there are several people in my tribe that are different from me, and that serves our team well. And so this was just a prime example of me just sharing about tribe. I just shared a post in our Power Hour Monday night. We worked on creating a recruiting style post, and I decided to focus on an income post because that's something I never do. You guys probably never ever see me posting about how income has been helpful for my family when it comes to Beachbody income. So that was something that I sort of challenged myself to do. So this is an example of that, when I shared about the fact that Beachbody paid our adoption expenses entirely when Ellery was born. So that's an example of that. And then today I featured Sarah as a coach feature. This is something I'm hoping to do more consistently. I put it into my calendar as a weekly task to just feature a different coach on our team, their story, what they mean to me, our relationship. So those are just three really simple, remember to keep it simple, right? Three really simple ideas for you. So again, like I said, private conversations are equally as important. So what I mean by that is if you're putting out on your social once or twice a week, these sort of examples that I just gave, right? Examples of how the business has changed your family from an income perspective, from a relationship perspective, personal growth perspective, whatever it is you're sharing on your brand, as your brand on sort of the storefront of your business on your social, it's just as important for you to be having conversations with people behind the scenes. Private messenger, text, in person, building those relationships and planting seeds. Because what's going to happen is the branding side of things is going to wind up validating everything you're doing in those private messages and vice versa. Okay, so they work in tandem with each other. If you start recruiting somebody to join your team and they've never seen you ever talk about the business or being a business mentor, they might have a lot of questions, right? Or vice versa. They could see you posting all the time about this business opportunity, but they might think that they're not good enough because you've never asked them specifically. Does that make sense? Okay. So what has the business aspect of Beachbody done for you? So I know the first thing that comes to mind usually when someone says, hey, what has Beachbody done for you? The first thing they think is I've lost 30 pounds, or I was able to get off my medicine, or whatever. And that's all health and fitness related, and that's awesome. And that is the core of why we are all here. But what has the business aspect done for you, right? So go back to those ideas of relationships, tribe, team, vision, living bigger, right? Like dreaming bigger, like all those things that the business has done for you. Make a list of those things, because if you're struggling with coming up with content when it comes to branding yourself this way, that's the first step. If you're like, I don't know what to post about, this is the first step. Make a list of everything Beachbody has done for you, and then use that list to kind of come up with your ideas for your content. So my recommendation is actually to be sharing about the business side of things at least twice a week. This is my goal. I try to invite to my challenge groups at least 2 times a week, and I try to post about the business in some way 2 times a week. So I know a lot of people are like, oh, I think I'll just invite to my challenge group every Monday, or I'll invite to the business every Tuesday. And that's great, but I think you can do it a little bit more, because you have to remember that people are not seeing your stuff. Everybody on your social is not seeing everything you post. So the more consistent you can be and the more frequent you can be in their feed, the more likely you are to be seen in that way. So, and then my last tip for you is when you do make these types of, when you have Instagram stories and you've got something in there about your business, you've got a Facebook post, whatever it is, reach out to the people who are viewing or liking your posts and thank them for the support, for their support with your business. It is a huge thing. And I think Meg Kozlowski, I think Meg Kozlowski talked about this Monday on the Wake Up Call, about how just reaching out to people and thanking them for their support or thanking them for liking your post can start the conversation behind the scenes. So I have found recently there's 2 particular women who've been liking my posts about the business. And so the last 2 posts that I've made, they've liked. So I was like, this is now my invitation to open up a conversation with them. So I reached out to both of them and I literally just said, hey, thank you so much for your recent support on my posts having to do with my personal business or my online business. I would love to share with you about it if you're ever interested, but I just want you to know that no matter what, I'm so thankful for your support, right? Something that simple will oftentimes spark a conversation right up the alley of joining your team. So also in Girl Wash Your Face, I thought I'd end with this because I think it's perfect. Imagine all the things you would have missed today if you'd been out here for yourself, right? She talks about this when those of you who've read the book, when she goes to the race to support her friends. And she's kind of all in her own mindset, but she realizes all the things that she's seeing around her, the people around her. So that's what I have to share for wrapping this up, and I think it's a perfect quote to wrap it up with, because I think that people who are afraid, I think coaches who are afraid to share the business opportunity and to brand themselves a business mentor, sometimes it has a little bit to do with just their own fears and hesitations and confidence in themselves. But I think more often it has to do with just sort of a selfishness, honestly, right? Like almost like, well, I really like the fitness and the workouts and I'm really comfortable with paying that forward. So I don't know, the whole business thing kind of scares me a little bit, right? But that's really, in my mind, sort of a selfish way to think about this. Like as soon as you have your very first coach that's on your team who decides that they want to pay this forward and they feel passionate about it and there's a sense of fulfillment on their part, then you're going to be like, why haven't I done this sooner? Why haven't I been recruiting people, faster? Why haven't I been talking to more people about this? Because what I think we're missing out on is the fact that so many women really do want to be part of a tribe. They want to contribute to their family's income. They want to kind of dream bigger, have bigger dreams for themselves. And by not inviting to that, by not inviting to this business, and by not letting people know that they have this opportunity, we're really just in it for ourselves. And that's definitely not what we got in it to be. So does anybody have any specific questions about anything or anything shared or anything in general about recruiting? Any tips or tricks from anybody on live that they want to share for what they've been doing recently? Okay. So what I like to use as a rule of thumb is if you're recruiting 3 people each month to your challenge group, that's a list for you to be working from for next month for coaches, right? So that list grows. If you're hitting Success Club 10 or whatever, if you're bringing in 5 new coaches a month or 5 new customers a month, that list for recruitment grows. And then of course there's always those people that are just looking for a business opportunity to add to your list as well, or people who are already in the health and fitness realm. There's a woman who hopefully will be joining our team tomorrow, who I've been working with for, I don't even know. We've met probably 3 times since January. And at first she's like, oh, I just feel more comfortable referring people to you. Like she was a 21-day fixer long, long time ago. And then, so she did refer some people to me, even some family members to me. Long story short, I finally gave her this whole like, are we doing this or are we doing this? And sometimes really, honestly, it does come down to that. But I was starting to feel a little bit nervous because I thought, gosh, like she's been sort of like leading me on with this whole coach thing for a long time now. Like she's been saying she wants to do it, but she's not doing it. And finally she messaged me today. We're meeting tomorrow to get it all done. And she was like, I just want you to know, thank you so much for not giving up and for consistently following up with me and for believing that I'd make a great coach. If it wasn't for that, I probably never would be signing up tomorrow. And I think that that's probably truly the case for so many even of our leaders on our team. It took so much following up on my part for some of them, or for some of you. You guys have had the same experience. So my only other thing that I didn't include in that presentation was just make sure that if there are people that you know that would make a great coach, especially if they're people who are consistent, challengers. They're always hopping into your challenge group. Those people may come around with time, but the seed planting and the branding of yourself as a business mentor, hand in hand, are going to be what draws them to finally do it and to finally go for it. So hopefully that's helpful. Do you guys feel like is this an area of strength for you or an area of weakness? Like, what is your overall sense of where you are right now with branding yourself this way?
This is definitely an area of weakness for me that I've been working on. And I feel like I'm starting to get a better handle on how to brand my team and myself as a CEO. But a lot of it for me was definitely just confidence in myself as building leaders, and really believing that I could build leaders. So that was a big part of it for me, but I've worked on that with a whole lot of personal development and really understanding more of who I'm trying to recruit, and understanding that the more fears that I have, the more that I project that onto other people. And those are the people that I'm going to be actually recruiting. And I want confident leaders on my team. So I need to be more confident in my abilities to attract more of those people. So.
Yeah, that kind of goes back to last week when we did the activity on like top 10 qualities of your ideal coach, right? Like what are the what are the areas of weakness that you have? Because most likely that's what's being reflected.
Exactly.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, my plan is to talk next week a little bit more about kind of wrap this up a little bit with talking about sort of third-party tools. I haven't come up with a title yet, but things that we can have in our arsenal to be more prepared when it comes to recruiting coaches. So right now I feel like it's really easy to invite people to challenge groups because we know and we're confident in the fact that we rock challenge groups. We know that our team's always going to have a challenge group. We know that, we've got the meal plans, we've got awesome value to deliver. And so sometimes I think that could be what's holding us back from recruiting to the coaching opportunity, is we're not exactly sure, okay, if someone's interested, what do I send them, right? And then once I send them that, then what do I do? So that's my hope for next week, is to talk about the actual recruitment process, what tools you probably need to be creating on your own as a leader to be able to send to people, what that should include, that whole thing. So that's my hope for next week, is to wrap it up with that. Katie, I think that's Katie. Katie, did you have a question?
That's exactly what I was gonna say, that I kind of been stumped on, is people want something to read, and all I really am familiar with is like old videos from, I don't know, like what's that big blonde, busty blonde lady?
Christine?
Lindsay Matway. She's got a video that I liked like 4 years ago, and I like shared it recently, and it just felt like it missed the mark. And I'm like, okay, well, what do I do now? I'm not really sure how to tell people, like, how to share that it's like a legit business when I don't really have any third-party tools. So that will be awesome. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. Well, as a short-term solution for that, until I cover this next week, there's a video that was shared. It's in our team page somewhere. I'll try to find it again. But it was also shared on the Indiana. I posted it on the Indiana Beachbody page after the last Super Saturday, because it was a video shared at the Indiana Super Saturday. Abby, do you remember that? Were you there? I don't remember. Anyway, it's this girl. Her name is Brooke Leipoff. She's a coach. Hang on, let me look real quick.
It's not ringing a bell. I think I was there though.
No, I think I sat with Kim. I think you were like in Disney.
I wasn't there. You're right.
Yeah. So I'll try to find it. I know it's on the Team Beachbody Indiana. I know I posted it on that public page. Yeah, I just found it. Okay. It's called Everything You Need to Know About Becoming a Coach on Our Team. And it's a YouTube video by Brooke Leipoff. And everybody in the Elite page is asking corporate to make a video just like it. so that we're not necessarily just sharing hers. But she does a fantastic job of showcasing what it means to be a coach. So if you're looking for something right now to send to people, that would be the video I would send.
What was the name again, please?
It is called, I can send it to you in a private message. But if you go to YouTube, it's called Everything You Need to Know About Becoming a Coach on Our Team.
Okay.
I'm gonna send it right now.
I would write it down, but I'm driving. Sorry. Thank you.
Totally get it. I'm sending it right now to the group. Okay, cool. Okay, guys. Well, I will see you guys, probably most of you guys, on Mastermind tomorrow night. I'm still loving the Girl Wash Your Face. Do you guys like it?
Yep.
Good.
Good.
And Laura, you're doing Power of I Am, and it's rocking. Good. Good, good. Okay, y'all. Well, have a great night. I'll have the recording up tomorrow as usual, and I will see some of you tomorrow on Mastermind. Otherwise, I'll see you next week. Good night.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.